Hey everybody, thanks for watching the show. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Unfortunately, with this software, if you start 10 minutes afterwards, it will not start the show on Facebook. So I had to redo a couple things. Um, so I still wanted to get everything going for you guys. So you guys have that content, and we'll be putting that out to the masses in the near future. So we are talking about the differences between Symbility, which also is MSB. We'll talk about that in a second. I'll do a screen share compared to Xactimate. Custom price list, which is what we do on Xactimate, versus lump sum. So there's a lot of detail. I'll go through a few things with you guys. Hopefully you guys get some good info off of this. And let me share the screen in 2 seconds. I just got to get one thing going. All right, we are good. So, sharing the screen. Evidently, in 2012, because I did some research, so that's why some of us call it MSB and other ones call it Symbility. Symbility did an acquisition of MSB. It's a software that insurance companies sometimes use, not very many. It's usually the smaller companies. Back in the day, it was Allstate, and they were always paying O&P, but the issue was they were still substantially less than Xactimate. It was like, what's the point of paying O&P when you're still not paying hardly anything? And back in the day when me and Kyle were working together at KWL Enterprises, the roofing experts, we actually made a decision as a business to not do any more Allstate claims because of that. Nowadays, we know about appraisal and custom price lists, lump sum estimates, using Xactimate to say, no, this isn't correct. This is what everybody uses. You guys are just trying to price fix. Those are the kind of things we can do. But at the same time, there is some good companies that use it. Chubbs uses it. They pay great. If anybody's ever done a Chubbs claim, basically, they just deal with their clients a lot differently. Obviously, they're paying a little bit more. I wouldn't say substantially more. I don't know the apples for apples. I could get a quote in the near future, and that would actually be really good, I think, for content for you guys, is show a house in a couple different regions and get quotes from multiple insurance companies and show the coverage and so forth. But for the purpose of this, we're going to show you guys some examples. I contacted Symbility, or I attempted to. I just got looped around. I was trying to get pricing. As far as pricing for Xactimate goes, most of us use it, even as a guide. Here's where it is. This is professional. This is what we use. The reason being is you can have a desktop and you can also have an online version at the same time. So you can pay by the month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. It's pretty close. Obviously it's a little less expensive. $321 by 12, you're going to be about $4,000. So you're paying more. This way you're paying $255 to $1,655. So you're still paying more. So if you can pay by the year, you're saving a chunk of change. If you only work a couple months out of the year, well, then you probably don't need it for all the time, and you can turn it back on and turn it off whenever you want to. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some examples. So this is a claim we're currently working on that just came through, and this is what gave me the idea of this. Number one, due to the fact that Elizabeth is on leave, I haven't been able to spend a lot of time devoted to getting people to come on the show. We had a lot of people already lined up, and also the fact is I'm doing training for our new team in Mexico City. So I took on a few extra jobs. I'm the head of operations, as many of you know that have watched the shows lately, and also business development. And so we're actually going to be bringing on some marketing people and so forth to take some stuff off my plate. But with that being said, we'll just dive into this real quick. This is Symbility MSB. So Liberty Mutual and Safeco are now using this. As most of you know, they're sister companies, and the one thing that most of us have been in the industry know, Symbility, you're able to change prices a lot easier. I wouldn't say manipulates the correct word, because we do the same thing. We don't call it manipulating, because guess what? When we do a custom price, their line items are sometimes a little different, so you might have to do some searching. I've been in the industry for a long time, like me and Kyle, second nature. Our team in Mexico City, I'm actually working with them, and we're actually putting together a list. So if there's an item that comes up that they don't typically see, it's there. And actually, me and one of the other guys, I don't write too many estimates anymore, but we did a contest, and it was kind of a tie. One thing was there was a window in the one that was actually 30 to 35 square feet. Well, there was not a line item in Xactimate for that. So me doing this for so long, I put it as three windows that were 9 to 12 or 13 square feet. So it would be the same. Price was a lot higher, and that's where that one was. So actually, this is it right here. So if they fixed it, and as you can see, it's right there. We're not sharing people's information. We never do that when we do examples. I don't know why they put 1 square foot of there. But anyways, there's a couple things that this is, once again, for example purposes. I haven't gone through this to double check everything, but right here, so you can see right here, $1,700 for the same window setup is right here. And that's not without putting everything together. When we do these exact matches, we want it to be as close to what the insurance company said as possible. But obviously, there's, when you have an MSB versus Xactimate, it's going to be, the pricing is going to be, from here to here, and depending on the insurance carrier as well. But as you can see, the totals, it's $18,000. And with Xactimate, and this is Colorado, the custom price list for most guys in Colorado doesn't really change much. It's mainly missing line items. So it's at $24,000. So that's about a $6,000 difference right there. So, 18, yeah, about 6,000. 18,652 and 24,610. So almost 6,000. Here's one in out of Ohio, one of the contractors we work with. The insurance company actually only paid for a repair. Now they've paid for replacement. Now we're working on the next step is to get the contractor his correct pricing. So what I did is I just converted our supplement into an exact match, so that way you guys can kind of see the pricing difference. This is standard Ohio pricing for that area. As you can see, I made up a company real quick to put it in there. But as you can see, this is how our header is going to look. For Title Law Solutions, whoever is our claim rep estimator, and then also the contractor. We put the contractor's information in there. That's really important. But we're the representative. Most supplement companies are not doing this. They're putting your company stuff. And then guess what? If they do something wrong, guess who's on the hook? You are. Not me, not Furtado, not for Title Law Solutions. You are. So most supplement companies are not standing behind their stuff completely. And if there's ever an issue, you guys can be dealing with that. So just think about that as a heads up. So as you can see, total for the job, 13,216, 77. So we're going to look at the supplement example. And as you can see, this right here is our custom price list. You guys can do that yourself. It's a lot of math. It took a very long time to put together this formula. If you want custom price lists, just estimates, we can do those for you. At the end, I'll give you info so you guys can contact me. Some of you guys have your own supplement team, but you guys are banging your head. They're not paying OMP. I'm going to appraisal on every job. Well, if we can show the stuff, and we can work with you guys, so you guys can do that yourself. It's not super expensive for these estimates. There's an upfront fee for us to build the list. If we got to do changes, we'll do that. Big companies, obviously, that are in multiple jurisdictions, they could have multiple price lists because you may not be paying the same price per square in one part of the city compared to in the middle of nowhere. We work with a client, I forget where, but I met them last year. But anyways, they were basically making 10%. So they weren't making nothing. They were making money on their siding. So with the custom price list, they were actually making money on the jobs. But they had different areas that were different pay. I deal with that with a lot of guys. Sometimes they do a lot of work in the middle of nowhere. Or sometimes it's every once in a while. So if we needed to fix that, we could do that for our clients. But if you work all over the U.S. and your pricing is different, just like I've been consulting with some guys for the storm for Ida. Is it Ida? Anyways, the hurricane that just happened down in Louisiana. And they pricing's horrendous, as you guys probably know. So one of the big things is to make sure that the pricing is correct. For what you guys are a lot of times having to pay for crews and all kinds of stuff. You guys are getting stuff established. It's a little more expensive. I heard an Ubers for one company because they couldn't get rental cars and they couldn't have enough trucks. They've hired so many guys. They spend $700 a day on Ubers. And you can't take your ladders. You can't do nothing, so it's really hard on these situations sometimes. So, but let's get down to the brass tacks for you guys because, time is money and we know you guys are busy. So we're at $19,000 on this compared to $13,000. So that's a $6,000 difference. Now, when we do these supplements, obviously, if the insurance company had written this original estimate right here, they want to have all the line items we have. When we work with people, our whole goal is we have a number in mind. A lot of times the insurance companies are telling us, what is that number? Just like your lump sums. If you guys have watched that, it's good material. It's good content. Thing is most people don't have the time. I'm sure these guys are probably in the near future with the lump sum contracting. They are in the near future probably going to put out a program and everything, and people pay for that. And that's fine. That's how, United States, and we're free commerce. And, if you're too busy and somebody can help you make more money, why not? But, when you do an estimate, the insurance company, they're 99% of the time leaving stuff off. And so, number one, we put the extra line items on. We have some contractors, they do the extra ventilation. Not everybody does. Some people just go back with what's there. But we work with our contractors, so if they're doing something, we work to get them paid for it rather than, oh, well, it's okay. I mean, we had one guy, no offense, out of Denver, he was at like a 55% margin. So he was making sweet money. And he's like, well, I want to get paid for the vents. So we got to, he had to get a bid. He had to give us a bid for it because of the fact the insurance company was being difficult. And they paid it. So at the end of the day, he actually was like at a 60% margin, which, we paid our fees, but he was making more than the typical contractor percentage-wise. Now on to lump sum. Lump sum estimates are very similar to our custom price list. The difference is once we've made a custom price list, it's set up, we're using Xactimate pricing for material. If there is an item that, say the shingles go up in the middle of the month and you let us know, then guess what? We're going to put that information in there. Sometimes we just do it at invoicing because it's a lot easier. We'll just update the price list, see where it's at. And, it'll still bring in, July, pricing if you're working in July. But yeah, the program is set up really slick, and it's the way we work it. It's going to bring in the most recent price list in that area as far as materials. The labor is set up for the custom price list. Most contractors are only doing roofing and gutters. So on your gutters, you guys are usually making decent money. Roofing is where you guys usually get losing money. And if there's a fact of, hey, I'm using a a true sub for the windows and so forth, somebody like Adrian or Adrian Sanchez or some of the other guys we've interviewed in the past, for siding, windows, so forth, they're giving you a bid 10, 20 grand to do the job. Insurance pays it. You guys should be getting paid profits on top of that. So we're able to break down Xactimate, show them, hey, this is what it's typically paid. Here's what you guys should be paying as, in the area. Our whole goal is to get you guys around 40% after everything. In certain areas, you guys need to get paid more. Obviously, if you guys were working in Alaska, which I don't know anybody who does, but if there is, you guys need to get paid a lot more because you can't work that much. Same thing with any of the guys up in Canada, anybody who's working in South Dakota or any of those cold states, super cold states. Colorado, fortunately, we don't have that. Every once in a while, we'll have a cold spell of a couple weeks, typically, but it's not like we can't work throughout the winter for the most part. No different than if you're in an area that you get rain, you might not be able to work for a couple weeks here or there, but overall, you're able to work the majority of the time. So, and there's some areas like the Northwest where it rains all the time, and I'm still wondering how those guys really do roofs, but one day, hopefully somebody will let me know. I'm sure maybe Jake has some insight of that from Job Nimbus. So he actually messaged me about this. So, but let's get into the subcontracting real quick. 1 second. So this was a funny meme that they had on there. Don't go off Xactimate. Xactimate is the devil. So anybody who's watched The Waterboy will get a kick out of that. If you haven't, well, I'm sorry. You guys should get some comedy in your lives. So this is one of the ones that I thought was really good. I've issued a supplement payment based off of your estimate. Attached as a revised estimate. Homeowner should receive supplemental check in about a week. And that one, let me see. Was that this one? And then the correlation to that was, I believe, this. No, different one. Well, just so you know, this is possible. I've done it on my end, not with the lump sum, but insurance companies will pay that. One of the things that I see with these lump sums, some of them don't have a lot of detail in them. So, for instance, this one, it just says 29.4 squares, and it has a lot of extra information on there, but it doesn't say how much of everything they're doing. Whereas this one, there's a couple examples where it was really good. This is the type of stuff I would say would work best with the insurance carriers. This is how many squares of this and ridge and starter and everything, because then if they're only paying for a repair, then they're able to see this. And then you should still have an explanation too, as to if you have a repair and you need to do the whole roof, what's going on, not just here's the estimate, pay this, right? At least that's my feeling. If you feel differently, by all means, comment, let us know what's going on, what you guys are feeling on all this. Hopefully soon I'll be able to have some of these guys on the show. So this is an estimate, and then these guys actually had an example of an invoice, So they have their quantities. That's great, because the thing is at least it's showing, it's giving information to the insurance company. They can look into this. If you don't give them any info and you're just saying, give me $20,000 for this roof, and you don't say what you're doing, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. We've worked with some guys in the past with Furtado Law, and I have with supplementing, where on commercial jobs, they actually would do a scope of work. And then after the scope was approved, then they would send over pricing and deal with it that way. That is another way to deal with all this stuff. It does work, not all the time, and then sometimes there's a lot of appraisal. And when you're dealing with a big job, that's fine. But the thing is appraisal is great, but if you go to appraisal, you win, and then you litigate, and you've already done the job, and you're already making great money. Guess what? You're not gonna probably win those for the most part. Every once in a while, the insurance company just folds. They were doing that a lot. They were just paying, and then they're like, "We're gonna fight," and they want every document from you guys. And when you don't have it, guess what? You're not gonna win that case. And a good lawyer is gonna look at your case and say, "Do you actually have a case?" No, you don't have a case? Well, then we need to not deal with this. There's some guys that'll deal with anything, and then when it gets hard, they run away. You don't want that. You want somebody who's going to stand behind you. So if you have files that you're having issues with, contact us. We can help you with that. If you just want estimates written, custom estimates written, and you just want to talk shop, and let me know what your issues are, that's what we're here for. Obviously, that's how we get clients. But yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, you can contact me on my cell, which I'm going to be updating this. I have a new work line, but I haven't set up everything yet. Still, it's at 720-296-6618. Again, it's 720-296-6618. My email is jason@furtadolaw.solutions. Once again, that's jason@furtadolaw.solutions. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys need any more info, let me know. Anybody wants to message me, I can send you out some of these graphics and so forth for you guys to look at for comparisons and so forth. And thanks for your time, and looking forward to talking to you all soon.